Good day, everyone. I am Bonric Maxwell Platon from Bachelor of Science in Criminology 1-6, and for today's lesson, we are going to discuss maternal deprivation and attachment theory. First is, who is John Bowlby? His full name is Edward John Mostyn Bowlby. He is born in February 26, 1907, and from London, England, and he died on September 2, 1990 in the Isle of Skye, Scotland. Edward John Mostyn Bowlby is a British developmental psychologist and psychiatrist best known as the originator of attachment theory and maternal deprivation. And also, he explored the behavioral and psychological consequences of both strong and weak emotional bonds between mother and their young children. Bowlby's theory of maternal deprivation. He is John Bowlby, and I quote, "I am here because I thought that mental health juvenile delinquency could be caused by maternal deprivation." What is maternal deprivation? Maternal deprivation means not receiving suitable emotional care from a maternal figure. It means he is or she is, the children itself, is lack of love from his or her parents. Deprivation versus separation. Deprivation and separation is two different things. When we say separation, it is the absence in the presence of primary attachment figure. And when we say deprivation, it is the loss of an element of care. Words to remember. These words can be helpful in understanding this presentation. First is monotrophy, critical period, delinquency, affectionless, psychopathy, low IQ, and continuity hypothesis. Bowlby J. The 44 juvenile thieves, their character and home life. It is a study from John Bowlby in 1944 that proves that maternal deprivation affects the life of those children. He wants to prove that separation from mothers can cause affectionless psychopathy. And his findings, 32% are affectionless psychopaths from accused thieves. And 86% of them experience prolonged separation. From control group, 0% are affectionless psychopaths. And also, 4% experience separation. Here's the diagram, as you can see. From the interviewee to thieves accused on the left side. 32% affectionless psychopaths and 86% experience early separation. Meaning, when we say experience early separation, it is the lack of the love from the parent. So, 32% of them, of the 100% in the thieves, are affectionless psychopaths, while 86% of them are experience the early separation. While in the other hand, control group has 0 affectionless psychopaths and 4% experience early separation. This proves that the study or this proves that John Bowlby's study is true. However, a criticism, this research is correlational. Let's find out later. Romanian Orphan Research in 2011. This study highlights the importance of a sensitive period rather than a critical period. Romanian Orphan Research in 2011 shows that while deprivation has a long-term damaging effects, there is some reversibility. Evaluation or the strengths. Bowlby's 44 thieves theory study backs up the maternal deprivation hypothesis. This backs up Bowlby's claim. This study from Goldfarb in 1955 he studied war orphans and found out that orphans who were not adopted and remained in an institution or orphanage has a very low IQ. This backed up Bowlby's claim, meaning the Goldfarb theory or study supports Bowlby's theory. While in Bifulco et al. 1992, he studied women who had lost their mothers before the age of 17 and found that the rate of depression was the highest in women whose mother had died before they were 6 years old. This backs up also the Bowlby's claim. And in the other hand, let's move on to the limitations or the weaknesses. Bowlby's 44 tips study only found a correlation between separation and affectionless psychopathy, while Bowlby's concluded that maternal deprivation causes affectionless psychopathy, but there's a but while in Goldfarb in 1955 found a correlation between institutional care and low IQ, we cannot conclude that maternal deprivation caused low IQ. So it contradicts Bowlby's theory. Bowlby's findings from 44 tips study have not been replicated. In Lewis in 1955 partially replicated the 44 tips study, meaning the theory of John Bowlby is not that accurate because it is not being replicated or it is not being spread in different institutions. While Kaluchova in 1976 found that children deprived of maternal care during the critical period were able to form stable relationships and had higher than average IQs. So meaning, it also contradicts Bowlby's theory that when a child stays in an institution or orphan, it has low IQ. And for the quote, "My family comes first, then others." Anoir O. Chan. Let's move on to the attachment theory. Attachment theory, and again, who is John Bowlby? He is the father of attachment. He was the first attachment theorist. For Bowlby's, attachment is a lasting psychological connectedness between humans. Bowlby believed that the earliest bond formed by children with their caregivers have a tremendous impact that continues throughout the life. Bowlby's etiological theory. It recognized infants' emotional tie to the caregiver as an evolved response that promotes survival. And also, he said that feeding is not the basis of or for attachment, rather. Let's move on to the 4 phases of attachment. 4 phases of attachment. First is the pre-attachment phase. Second is the attachment in making phase. Third is the clear-cut phase. 4 is the formation of a reciprocal relationship. So, what are the styles of attachment? Attachment is not an all or nothing process. They may be variations or individual differences between children in the attachment they form. Ainsworth and Bell, 1976, assessed about 100 American infants and their primary caregivers for the quality of attachments, and they found different styles of attachments. What are the different styles of attachment? First is the secure attachment, avoidant attachment, resistant attachment, and disorganized or disoriented attachment. What are the strengths and weaknesses of this attachment theory? First is the strength of this theory is that it is considered the dominant explanation of how and why attachment develops, while the weakness is the idea that attachment behavior have evolved to promote child development as a good face validity, but evolutionary ideas are very difficult to test and so difficult to prove and or disprove. Research studies cross-cultural patterns are of attachment, maternal deprivation, and emotional problems in children. Attachment is the great fabricator of illusions. Reality can be attained only by someone who is detached. By Simon Weil.